What's good, YouTube? As you can tell by the title, we're going to be covering all the changes made with the Glock 19 Gen 6. All the upgrades, all the downgrades. It's a fucking new iteration. They shouldn't have no downgrades, but it's all subjective. I'm going to tell y'all what's different. Y'all going to determine if it's an upgrade or a downgrade. That's up to y'all. I'm going to give my own personal opinion as well on what I like, what I dislike, shit like that. I'm not too big on intros. We ain't going to waste no time with no long ass intro. We're going to get straight into the video. The first thing we're going to cover that's new with this new Gen 6 Glock, something that has been getting a lot of positive feedback or a lot of positive reviews. Something motherfuckers like is the fucking grip texture. They changed the stippling on the grip. It's the same pattern as the Gen 5. For comparison sakes, I'm gonna be using this 19X Gen 5, Gen 6 Gen 5. You can see it's the same exact pattern, but the stippling on the new Gen 6 grip is a lot deeper. They feel very similar, but the deeper serrations on this one make it a lot more, not serrations, is that the right word? Whatever. The deeper texturing on this grip makes it a lot more grippy and comfortable, not gonna lie. Another change that everyone seems to love, and I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about it, I thought it was gonna be like a gimmick. It's gonna be the gas pedal. This is my first gun I've ever had with gas pedals on it. And you know, watching reviews on YouTube of people doing guns with gas pedals and gassing up the gas pedals, basically motherfuckers be glazing these gas pedals, bro. And I'm just like, man, that shit ain't gonna make no fucking difference. But y'all, now that I've put my hands on it and got to shoot it and practice getting a good purchase on it and present it, the gas pedal is definitely a nice upgrade. It gives you a nice place to rest your thumb with your offhand, with your support hand. And I just think it helps with the stability a lot. Now, the crazy part is what really sold me on the gas pedal wasn't the Glock itself. It was actually shooting my carry gun, the SIG P365 X Macro. I mean, I don't know if you would consider this a subcompact or compact. I mean, these bitches damn near the same size. I mean, I don't fucking know. I'm gonna call it a subcompact for now. What sold me on the gas pedal is, obviously there's no gas pedal here. I usually maintain a high grip on my gun, and you know, when you're just shooting this at the range, after a while, that barrel gets hot, that slide gets hot, and eventually your thumb's gonna get hot if you have a high purchase on the gun. And with this gas pedal, your hand's not on the slide itself, it's on the frame. It has a nice, comfortable place to rest on the frame without it. You know, you can put a lot of pressure and force on here, and your thumb ain't gonna go nowhere because it has something to rest on. Even with the Glock though, from my experience shooting, you know, putting hundreds around through this, the barrel doesn't really get that hot. My bad, not the barrel, the slide. The slide doesn't really get that hot. So with that being said, the gas pedal is definitely a welcome change. It's not a gimmick. This is definitely a good upgrade. For all you lefty motherfuckers, this shit is ambidextrous. So if you are a lefty, you have a gas pedal on the right side of the gun for your support hand as well. Gas pedal gets my stamp of approval. Again, at first I thought it was bullshit, but that shit is not bullshit. That motherfucker come in clutch. Next, something everyone was very excited about is the new flat face trigger, as well as the undercut here on the trigger guard. To me, the undercut, you don't really, you won't notice that shit. As far as the trigger goes, this shit is still trash. Very heavy, very spongy. Still got that 5.5 pound trigger in there. If anything, it's more spongy than previous generations. The reset, I will say the reset is pretty nice, but this take up is horrible. This shit right here is atrocious. Very heavy, very heavy. For comparison's sake, my Gen 5 19 with the older style trigger, the take up is also spongy, but it's a lot less spongy than before. And I feel like here, it has a more defined wall. Like, the wall is very predictable. It's very consistent. Clean break. I mean, the trigger still has clean break compared to that. Clean reset. Again, with the Gen 6, it's just something you're gonna have to put your hands on, man. Heavy wall. Very spongy take up. Heavy break. Decent reset. So I would say the trigger done got worse. The trigger shitty. We still got the same old bullshit ass. Try not to flag myself so I don't flame me. Let me see if I can get y'all a good view. Whatever. You get the picture. Same old bullshit plastic sights. I know with the Gen 5, some of them had the tritium sights that you combine with, like these. These are tritium nice sights. But nowadays, most people are gonna be running optics. So I mean, And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I just talk shit about it, but I don't hate the sights too much. I actually kind of like the Glock sights. I know that shit sounds crazy, but to me, I just like the, you know, the U with the dot. I feel like it's very, very easy to pick up on that dot on that front post. Like, boom, I know as soon as I see that dot, I'm on target. Like, I like that. But it is cheap and it is low-key trash, so I'm on the fence. But I know a lot of people hate these shits. So if you hate that, don't look forward to nothing new because you still got the same shitty sights. So far we've covered same shitty sights, very nice gas pedal, good stippling on the grip texture. We also covered again, undercut with the trigger guard. It's there, I mean, it ain't that great. Even worse trigger. Next thing I like to point out is with these slide serrations. So you see here, you got the standard slide serrations. You guys probably won't be able to see this on camera, but when you come to the front serrations, they're actually deeper cut than the ones on the rear. So you can get a nice good purchase on the firearm, nice good grip on the slide whenever you're doing a press check or whenever you're manipulating the firearm. These serrations on the front are gonna be deeper than the ones on the back. Previous generations, they're all the same as the rear. So these serrations right here are pretty much the same as these. And on like the other Gen 519s, these will also be on the front. You would just have the same serrations front and back. But again, on the Gen 6, you have the rear serrations and you have deeper cut forward serrations. So you can get a good purchase on that slide. Rack it back, press check, whatever you need to do. Very smooth. I like it. It digs into your palm really well. If you got soft pussy hands, it might hurt a little bit. Maybe I got soft pussy hands because that shit do be digging into that motherfucking thumb. One thing I've heard is with the internals, I heard they changed the extractor a bit. I guess I'll show you guys. The extractors, they look a little different. To be honest, I don't have enough knowledge on what they changed with this extractor to tell you anything about it. But one thing I can tell you, internals wise, is that they've changed the guide rod. So the guide rod is different. This is the old Gen 3 style guide rod. So it's all one singular piece. That's what gives it that shitty ass sound. So as you can see, this is the Gen 5 guide rod or guide spring, recoil spring, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Gen 3. So Gen 3/6, Gen 5. This is the old one, this is the new one. Me personally, I mean, as long as that bitch cycles the gun, I don't really give a fuck. One thing I have heard, and I'll show you guys right now, let me reassemble this real fast, is people complain about the sound that it makes. So listen to the shit. You hear that shit? That shit sounds horrible. For comparison, I'll show you the 19X. That shit sounds good. This shit right here, that shit sounds horrible. In terms of how they feel, I will say that the old guide rod feels a lot more, it feels of a higher quality than the new one. But like I said before, as long as that bitch cycles the gun, I don't really personally give a fuck. Another thing I like to point out is obviously the Gen 5 frame, the Gen 6 frame, the new Gen 6 frame still is compatible with all the previous generation mags. So this is the same exact mag I have for my Gen 5. It comes with 3 of the same exact mags that you would get with the Gen 5. I'm assuming the Gen 3 and all the other ones. Fits well, same exact fitment, no difference. 19X mag, again, no issues. If you have any of those 33 round mags, you'll fit and run with no issues. So it's still compatible, all the same mags. One thing I tried myself is to put this Gen 6 slide on my Gen 5 frame, and I was having trouble with it. I'm not sure if I was just doing this shit wrong, but I was struggling. Matter of fact, I'm about to try again right now. That motherfucker ain't going. But I'm assuming it comes from the changes they made to make it harder to put switches on the guns. So if you see here, I'm trying to put my Gen 6 slide on my 19X frame, and it won't fit. Now with the Gen 5 19, you can easily slide that on a 19X, a Gen 5 19X frame. I'm not sure if it's different with the Gen 5 V models, but with the regular Gen 5, if you have a regular Gen 5 19 and a regular Gen 5 19X, the slides and frames are interchangeable. Another thing that I forgot to cover with this frame, aside from the stippling and this undercut on the trigger guard, is this beaver tail here. With the Gen 5, the beaver tail comes separately. So you have like these little back straps that'll come in the box, and if you choose to, you can add the back straps to give yourself this beaver tail. With the Gen 6, every gun is gonna come with this beaver tail already on it. Now, I've seen some people complain about it, but me personally, I ran the beaver tail on my Gen 5 19. So me personally, I don't really care. I like that it's on there already. It doesn't bother me at all. It does help you get a very good, comfortable, high purchase on the gun. And I just feel like it helps the grip fit my hand. So that's one thing. Damn, I'm forgetting a lot. Another thing I will add with the grip that they changed, which you probably won't be able to see on the camera, they added a palm swell on here. So as you get to the top, it gets narrow. As you get to the middle, it gets wider. And then as you get to the bottom, it gets narrow again. Again, you probably can't see that on the camera. To be honest with me, when I had my regular 19 Gen 5 in my hand, it didn't feel too much different. Maybe that's because I had the back strap on there, which already made the gun feel my hand up a little bit more. But with the palm swell, it still feels really good in my hand. And my hands aren't that big. Another thing that's gonna be different on the slide is the mounting system they use. So they moved on from the OEM MOS system and they switched to the, don't know what it's called, I'm about to look it up. Yeah, on the internet didn't tell me anything, but it is a direct mount system and they use polymer filler plates. So this is what the new footprint looks like, and according to Google, it's compatible with RMR, RMSC, and DPP. So again, here's a closer look at that. Here's what it'll look like. See if I can get this shit to focus. But there we go, that looks good. And it'll come with these 3 bullshit cheap plastic adapter plates. This shit feels like they were like 10 cents. And you'll just slap that motherfucker on like so, slap that optic on top, screw that bitch in, lock that in, and get it down. I fuck with it. I mean, like I said, if that bitch functions correctly, I don't really care. I actually got my optic coming in. Actually, I lied. I didn't even order that bitch yet. I don't have an optic right now. So I'm gonna put this shit back on and shut the fuck up. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rank each change from best to worst. So I think so far the best change is definitely gonna be the gas pedal. To me, that's gonna be the best change. Second best change is gonna be the change in grip texture. Third best change, I'm gonna have to give it to the mounting system. It's very easy to use, hassle-free. You don't have to do all that extra bullshit. You got everything. They pretty much give you everything you need, so I'm gonna give it to the optics mounting system. Fourth, I think this fourth, is gonna be the deeper slide serrations on the front. Again, it makes it very easy to manipulate that slide, so I'm gonna give them props for that. Fifth is gonna be having the beaver tail by default. Like I said, I like the beaver tail in the previous generation, so to me, I like that change. 6 gonna be the palm swell. It's there. I mean, I don't really, no, I lied. No, yeah, 6. 6 is gonna be the palm swell. It's there. Don't really notice it, but I guess I like it. 7th, I'm gonna give them the undercut. Again, it's there. Don't really notice it, but I guess I like it. 8 is gonna be the recoil spring. That shit sounds atrocious, but as long as it functions, I don't really give a fuck. I don't know which number I'm on anymore, even though I just said it 3 seconds ago. But the worst change is gonna have to be this trigger. This trigger is ass. This trigger is still ass. And it's so crazy to me because, bro, the one thing everybody in the world complains about when it comes to Glocks is this dumbass trigger. This trigger is so stupid and spongy. But I guess with it being tailored more towards being a duty gun, it's safe to have a nice big spongy trigger. So you can really be sure if you really wanna, if you about to damn, hop in that water, you can be sure before you can get it help you get your little feet wet. This, I guess, this is their way of letting you dip your toes in the water before you dive head first in that motherfucking water when you get into some action or you about to make a decision. So I guess this little trigger is the "Are you sure?" button on that motherfucker. But this shit ass. This shit horrible. I hate this trigger. Damn. How you make the trigger worse? And again, I just wish they would have did something better with these sights. These sights are pretty shitty, but I don't give a fuck because I'm running an optic, so who cares? All in all, I like the changes they made to the Glock. Are they very, very late to the party? Absolutely. But they are welcome changes. Now, as for if you should go out and purchase a Gen 6, in my personal opinion, this is my anecdote, this is my testimony. The only reason I bought this is because my old Generation 5 Glock 19 wasn't MOS, so it wasn't optics cut. So I was just like, fuck it, I want to run an optic on my Glock 19, so I might as well just get the Gen 6 and upgrade versus going and getting a MOS Gen 5 when I already had a Gen 5. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to get the MOS or the Gen 6. So if you already have a Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS, I don't really see a reason for you to go and grab this Gen 6. I don't really think it's worth it. I think you're just better off running your Gen 5, keeping that, saving yourself some time, maybe some money. But if you absolutely want this, I mean, sure, go ahead, grab it. But in my humble opinion, if I had a Gen 5 that was already MOS cut, I wouldn't go get this. So yeah, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be my take on the Gen 6. Soon I'll be doing a range review of the Glock 19 Gen 6, so I'll take you guys with me on that. We're gonna go out and get some shots through it, see how it feels, see how the ergonomics affect the shootability. I forgot what the last thing I said was, but yeah, I'm gonna be taking these out to the range. We're gonna be shooting a new Gen 6, comparing how the ergonomics affect the shootability, and we're gonna be comparing it to the Gen 5 19X, so we can get a good standpoint on how much these changes really affect shootability and performance. Yeah, I doubt reliability will be affected at all. It is Glock. Their bread and butter is supposed to be reliability. I guess you could look at them as the AKs of the pistol world. So we're gonna take her out soon here, and we're gonna see how well she runs, and we'll cover that in another video. For my next review, I'm gonna be covering my carry gun, the SIG P365X Macro with the DX3 AHG frame. Basically, I just took the frame off this gun right here and threw it on this one. So I just mix and matched my X Macro with this P365 DX3, and now I got my new metal frame carry gun. I'm gonna be covering this in my next video, so if you give a fuck about this shit, go ahead and subscribe and catch that next video. I'll also be doing 2 separate videos covering these guns, how they came. So I'll be doing a X Macro video and then a DH3 video on the SIG P365 platforms. If you agree with anything or disagree with anything I said, leave a comment. If there's anything I forgot to mention, leave a comment. If there's anything I can do to make these videos better, leave a comment. I think you get the gist by now, just leave a comment. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one.